When we get up in the morning, along with coffee, toast, and cake. If you're like the old Stone Roadie, you like to wake and bake. Now let's join Craig, Reed, and Griff Martin as we head out on the road. So sit right back, buckle right in. It's the Wake and Bake Morning Show.
Fellow Earthlings. My name is Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stoned Roadie. And you can see me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube on the Stoned Roadie Show. The Stoned Roadie Show, podcast number 197, Wake and Bake the Morning Buzz, episode number 76. Action. Well, good morning. It's Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. My name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stoned Roadie. And this is my co-host, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. And away we go and on with the show. Welcome, Griff Martin.
I tell you what, it's been a action-packed weekend, and Craig and I took off Monday morning, and then you guys were wanting to hear some more jibber-jabber. You want to, I guess, hear our analyzation over what happened to Mr. T. Yeah, it's it's a inside job, right, Craig? Inside job.
Yeah. It's either total incompetence or they're totally complicit in the whole thing. There's a radio station up here, and there's a bunch of Navy SEALs and people that called in and say, "Man, that thing was, that's an inside job. There ain't no doubt about it." And I think it's pretty obvious that they're talking up here about indicting the Secret Service director for murder. I mean, complicity to murder. Anyway, that's more or less what happened. Them people, it's an inside thing. They it's.
Well, at the very least, they just were purposely left incompetent so that he wasn't guarded. At the very least, but there's more to it than that. In my biased opinion, but that's just allegedly what I think.
I haven't even talked about it because the whole thing's so ridiculous. It's just so incompetent. It's just you're just going. It's 400 feet from. I mean, that's just totally ridiculous. I mean, it's so stupid. I can't even conceive talking about it. And it is.
Well, they're not done yet. They're far from finished. They didn't accomplish their mission, so something else is coming.
Well, they've tried everything. They've tried to indict him. They've tried to throw him in jail. They've tried to, and then now they've tried to
impeach him.
Now they've tried to get rid of him, and they act like they don't know what's going on. Brandon, we're just glad he's safe. Fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah, there for a couple days they acted like they cared, but then after a couple days went by, they were back to the same old shit.
So stupid. You know what? But American people are so stupid. I mean, and the Democrats even say it. Americans are too stupid they're too stupid to know what's good for them. So we got to do it for them. I mean, they've said, Hillary said it, and Obama said it too. They're too stupid to know what's good for them. And God, just look around. They just keep, every time you turn around, they're putting something else. They're doing to the food or something to just see how much you'll put up with.
Well, they've already proven the chemtrail thing. There was that lady. She used to work for the Navy, and she's a whistleblower on the chemtrail thing. So that's for real. but it's not like it's the government's admitted it. They're not going to admit it, you know. And then you keep seeing more and more and more on the flat Earth thing. I mean, every time you turn around, it's like
I don't
if
know.
you
It's
think that
weird.
you're on a round globe anymore, then you're the idiot, because the flat earthers are proving the theory right as far as anything that you
There's
can do.
there's still a couple of questions I have about the flat Earth as to the Platonic thing, about the spheric Earth, about the plates and them rubbing together is what causes earthquakes. That still got me kind of puzzled. And a couple things that got me puzzled. I'm not real sure either way, but yeah, it's awful funny that you're not allowed to. Nobody's ever circumvented the Earth going south. You're not allowed to. And there's a treaty, Arctic Circle Treaty or whatever. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to go down there and try to go that way. And it's awful strange. Yeah.
Well, this is going to be an interesting year. By the time, I say November rolls around, it's going to be something completely that you're thinking about other than that election. I guarantee it's going to be very interesting. That's why I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Not around that time. If you're going to do something, you better do it now or
Yeah,
sooner.
November 5th, there's not going to be nothing happening then. They're going to do something to start some kind of martial law or they're going to do something because they can't win and they're not going
Yeah.
to let Mr. T take over. It's just not going to let it happen.
Yeah.
They've throughout history, that's how they've got rid of the people that were standing in their way. They just kill them.
Yeah, and
I
there's
mean,
up to it
God, look
again.
at how many friends does Miss Hillary have that just have committed suicide? Like 57. How many of your best friends commit suicide? Like she got like 57 of them or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Something
it's
crazy. I mean, it's something's fishy. I don't know.
quite coincidental.
Yeah. Yeah, the ones that go in to testify, a couple days before they go to testify, they commit suicide.
Yeah, and they
How many
have
is it?
kayaking accidents, and they get and they
All these
find them in the
all these cooks and
bathtub.
all these people that work for these presidents and stuff, and all of a sudden they drowned and stuff. It's awful weird.
Yeah, that's awful weird about how that kid was on a BlackRock commercial. That's I mean, do you know anybody that's on a BlackRock commercial, Craig?
No.
I mean, how is that not some kind of a warning right there? I mean,
I don't know what's going on. I got brain damage, so I'm having a hard time with this whole thing. It's just none of it makes any sense to me. I mean, just to me, it just seems like a lot of people are mentally ill. I don't know, but it's hard for
well,
me.
it's like that 103-year-old lady, Pam or Pat. Yeah, Pat was her name. She said, I said, Pat, what do you think about politics and what's going on? And she said, there's nothing I can do about it, so I can't worry about it. So that's what you got to way you got to look at it. And there you have the new Bong. Craig just got it in the mail, and he's doing quality control on it right now.
Yeah, it's not leaking or nothing. Works
Yeah,
pretty
oh
good.
yeah, I leak checked it, and
Yeah,
now it's been officially tested
that's a
by.
toker, all right.
And we're thinking about giving that sucker away on our 200th edition.
Yeah, we're trying to plan what we're gonna do for number 200.
Yeah, I think we'll probably give that. Craig will announce the winner to that, and then once I get the other one fixed, then we'll give it away.
I'm gonna have both of my co-hosts on number 200. It was just we didn't have Kathy Gozzi on. She had something to do on 100, so we had some other guests on. But I asked Pops to come on for number 200. He's been requested quite a bit, but he's scheduled for some kind of surgery here. He said he couldn't commit here this week. So wish you the best on your surgery. Anyway, there, pops, and
Yeah,
we don't know
man.
what we got planned. It's gonna be next Wednesday is what it's gonna be.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But it'll be whenever our 200th is. I mean, we could wait a month from now and do it.
Well, if it's on schedule, it'll be next Wednesday
Yeah,
because we
but
got
we'll
Friday,
see.
then Monday, and then Wednesday. So this is 97. So
And then you went to a thing and introduced. Well, of course, at the opening of the podcast, it had Craig up there introducing Mr. Breeze. And what happened there, Craig? What was up with that?
Oh, that was up there at Dragway 42 up in, I used to go drag racing up there at Dragway 42. And I thought it started at 2 o'clock. I thought the band started at 2 o'clock, Mr. Breeze. So I asked Sammy last week if he wanted to go up there with me. And he called me and I'd forgot about it. And God, it was like 90 degrees, I go, oh my God. I don't want to go outside. I goes, okay, well, we'll go up there and we'll just kind of introduce the band and then not stay very long. So we went up there and they didn't end up starting until 4. So it was pretty cool because we watched a bunch of drag racing. There was some pretty cool drag racing going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then the band, then they got there, and they wanted me to.
What is it? Some quarter mile stuff? What kind of racing is it?
Yeah,
quarter mile.
Yeah, it was a lot of nostalgia cars and gassers and there's some cool cars, man. Yeah, they were running a quarter mile in the 8s,
Wow, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But so then the band got there and I go around. These guys play kind of locally, and they play around here and every now and then. And I get up and introduce them, and they wanted me to get up and tell a couple of stories before they came on. So I got up and I guess I talked for about 15 or longer minutes.
Yeah, they were like. One guy was kind of like looking at his watch and shit whenever.
Well, they told me to tell a couple of stories. My God, I can't,
Yeah,
I only told one.
Then a damn motorcycle started up, and I couldn't hardly hear you there for a little while. And then you looked over, and you were like, "Damn." The guy was raining on your parade. You were trying to tell a story.
Well, there weren't. You know what? There weren't that many people in the crowd. There was because it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was hot, man. It was right out in the
when it's hot like that, nobody feels like.
Like I was just up there jibber jabbering, But
I went to that Jack's Beach one time there, and when every year they have that Jack's Beach, and it was so hot that year I went, and there was hardly anybody. It was about the same time COVID was going on, and there wasn't anybody in the audience. Just like remember when Six Gun was playing at that motorcycle dealership, and nobody was out in the parking lot because it was too hot, Yeah. You ever remember any of that though, Craig? Whenever you were touring with Skynyrd, it ever being like really, really hot and people were passing out and shit?
Yeah, that's why I was always half naked. Never did wear no clothes. I just had on shorts and never did wear a shirt or nothing, But
what's the hottest place you ever played? Do you remember?
Oh God, I don't remember.
Australia, maybe?
No. No. We did some places that was
probably.
Well, yeah, I do remember one time when I was with Marshall Tucker, we played the Navajo Indian Reservation in the middle of the desert, and it was that's why we gave them that land. It's worthless, and it was dusty. We had to wear bandanas so we could breathe. It was hot. It was the middle of the desert where the Navajos were. Yeah,
it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
It's not like Florida. Florida is miserable. You go out to
Well,
get some out
when
of your
it's
mailbox.
within 100, when it's 118 degrees and you're burning up and you go, God, it's hot, and they go, yeah, but at that dry heat, you just want to punch them. You go, yeah, like an oven, you son of a gun.
I know. Yeah.
What it's like. It's like being in an oven. I was out there in a rental truck, and I remember before they had air conditioning in them, and you couldn't roll the windows down because it was like turning the heater on. I mean, it's 118 degrees, and you can't roll your windows down. It's like turning the heater on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
But I'd rather have that though than freeze my ass off. If I had to choose, I would rather be hot than cold.
matter of fact, that trip I was talking about when I had that pound of weed in the truck, I think that was one of those situations where it was so hot I couldn't even roll the windows down. It was so hot. Yeah.
Mm. Well, we're gonna move along, Craig, and we got a few comments and questions, and then a lot of people were. I put that video because I went up to Gene's house out there in Inverness and hung out with Gene, and Gene's kind of like he's got that gray matter brain disease, and he's been diagnosed with, so he's kind of like he'll forget stuff. I don't think he'll mind me saying it because he even mentioned it on the rest of the interview I did with him, and I sat down with him and the rest of the I don't know how many parts there's going to be, but he kind of goes in and describes all the guys in the band. Um, he did a video one time where he described all the guys in the band, and it was so old, and the voice didn't even match up with his mouth. That's how old the audio was on it, and he was brutal with him, man. He was like, the guy asked him, said, "Tell me about Billy Powell. He's a drunk. He's a drug addict, obnoxious drunk, and he was just, and then how about Gary? Drug addict, and he was just, and so I said, Gene, maybe you kind of changed the way you think and now, and so he went over him again, and he wasn't near as bad. He wasn't near as hard on him, except for Artimus. It only took him a second though to talk about Artemis, but I'll put that up at the end of this. I'll put part 2 up at the end of this podcast, and then after that, you can see Craig singing "What's Your Name, Little Girl" with Mr. Breeze. We'll put that up too.
Well, my buddy Warren Henberry, he's the photographer on his iPhone. He was out there, but he's also he inspects all the race cars.
Oh,
Before they
okay.
wreck. Yeah, he's the inspector for all the cars, and he's got like 3 GTO judges. Yeah, he lives right. He lives about an hour from me. I'm gonna make a trip up to see him and check out some of his cars and stuff. He's got a nice little farm and stuff. But yeah,
Does he have any? He has cars himself.
yeah, he's got 3 GTO judges.
Those are his GTOs.
Yeah, yeah. He's got a bunch of cars. I told him, I said, man, I got an old 283 engine that was in the Alan Collins hot rod that I got back after I sold it. The guy put another engine in it. I got the engine back out of it. I said, I'd like to get me an old 60s or 70s car and put that engine in there and just have a driver, something that computerized and stuff, So he said he's gonna hook me up with something, So
Yeah, that'd be cool.
together, yeah, that'd be cool. Have another old car.
Well, Craig, how's that pipe smoking, man? Is it
Mike's
doing
pretty
good?
good. Yeah, let me have another choke off.
Yeah, is it still holding water? Everything's
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
Yeah, we'll have to. Um,
So next week, Craig's gonna decide what the name of the pipe is, and the person
well,
that sent it in. Can they still send names in? Yeah, they can still send
well,
names
yeah,
in.
we can still send names in, but I was thinking maybe I'll go through all those names and pick out like the 10 ones I like the best, and maybe we'll have maybe on the next podcast I'll go through the names and pick out 10 of the ones I like the best, and maybe people can write in and choose from them 10 or something. I don't know. What do you want to do?
Or you could pick out the
Oh
10
yeah,
that you
somebody's
like,
supposed
and
to
then
choose the name. Yeah, that's right. But somebody else. Well, maybe we could have a vote to choose which one of the 10 or whatever. Choose which one of the 3 or 4 or 5 that I like the
or
best.
you can stick them in the jar and draw them out. But either way, we'll give it away on the 200th. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like figuring it out during the podcast. Um, but simplified, I think is the either that or Craig. You just see a name that you like and say, "This is the name, and this is the person who sent it in, and that's what it's going to be." And
Yeah.
you can
I
do
might
that, and you're
just
going to
do
put
that.
some stickers on it and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time that you give it away, it'll all be ready, right? You'll
I
have the
got
stickers.
I got somebody that said another name too that I'm kind of getting partial to. They called it Blaze, because that's my old
Hey, that's a great name.
Blaze, because
Blaze.
that's my old nickname that Steve Perry and Greg Raleigh from Journey called me, Blaze, and then
That sounds pretty damn good right there.
yeah, and then Steve Perry said Blaze Baby. Man, we could call it Blaze Baby.
Or it could be Blaze, and then the next one could be Blaze Baby.
Blazes Baby.
Blaze and Blaze Baby.
Blaze and Blaze Baby, yeah. Whatever. That's
Well,
clever.
you go look at those names and dial in what you want, and we'll
Yeah.
announce it. But yeah, we got a lot more Gene Odom footage, and I'll put on the end of all the podcasts until they're gone. Maybe one or two band members at a time, his description of them and stuff, or something. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we'll go through these comments now here.
Yeah, but another thing about that shooter, his hair sure did grow awful fast. That shooter that they shot had awful long hair, compared to the pictures of that, the other thing.
Well,
I think they probably. And another thing, they haven't. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's coming awful strange that they didn't interview his mom and dad and see if he's been gone doing training somewhere.
well, they're going to hide
Invaders
all of
or-
that stuff. They're not
Oh,
going to let
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
It's
but-
going to be classified, just like the Kennedy.
yeah.
Just like the Kennedy files were classified. You can't know. You're not allowed to know. But Trump
yeah,
knows.
yeah.
Mr. T knows.
Yeah, but there's pictures of a couple of pictures of Oswald that they say are the same person, and they don't look like the same person, So, you never know. They're where they shot him. I guess that made whoever it was kind of unidentifiable. So, you don't never know what's going on.
Well, they waited to shoot him till after
Till
he
he
took
shot,
the shot.
yeah.
That's what right there. You saw the video of him up there. You heard the shot. They were aiming at him, and then they waited for him to shoot. Then they shot him.
Yeah, he didn't have permission to shoot until the guy shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's awful. Yeah, it's awful fishy.
I mean, how screwed up is that?
It's awful. It's so ridiculous. It's like, it's so ridiculous. I got brain damage, so I can't even.
And that's what was crazy. I was on the phone with Gene. I was talking to Gene and talking about coming to see him the next day. And then I said, Gene, this rally's getting ready to start in Pennsylvania. I'm gonna go ahead and hang up, because I don't want to miss this one. This is gonna be a good one. Trump's just now coming out. And he goes, yeah, me too. And as soon as I hung up, pop, 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 pop. And I'm like, damn, he grabbed his ear, and I was thinking, wow, I wonder if that like hit him in the head, because you didn't know, sometimes when you get shot, you don't know how bad you are until, I mean, there's been people have a conversation with you, then they fall over dead. So I didn't know, maybe, he was just not feeling the effects of it yet. But then when he stood up, I said, yeah, he'll live. And now he's a living martyr. Now he's, if he can stay alive long enough and they don't cancel the election, then he'll be the man.
But
'Cause,
yeah, but to nick your ear like that from the direction where it came,
I know it's like,
you got about an inch of leeway there.
it's like a damn movie, and it's like it
It's
ain't even real.
yeah, it's weird. And then I heard people saying that, that was all fake. That he did wrestling and he didn't really get shot and all kind of weird stuff, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They even got a picture of that bullet going whizzing by.
Yeah. And they got a guy dead too, so
Yeah.
and a couple injured. I don't know. They seen the guy up there. They seen him. I guess he popped off 5 shots.
I think it was 8. They said it was 8, but I only heard like 3, and then I thought that what you heard next was when they were shooting him.
Well, the one guy said he popped off 5, and the guy said, "Are you sure that kid's where the shots were coming from?" And the guy said, "Yeah, no question, it's coming from there."
Yeah, and then the poor guy that died.
But that sniper, that sniper, he could have shot that gun out of his hands or shot him in the shoulder. He didn't have to shoot him in the head and kill him. They killed him on purpose. So
yeah, they don't want him to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shot that. Those snipers could shoot that gun right out of that guy's hands or shoot him in the shoulder. They didn't have.
It is kind of strange how.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure he was dead and unrecognizable.
Yeah, and these other countries are probably like looking at us like these are some radical, crazy sons of bitches over there. They don't
probably
even know
think
what
of
they're
those
doing.
Americans that's stupid to believe all this crap.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, look what they're doing to this guy. They've tried everything they can to get rid of him. I mean, it's obvious that the current government's the one that's doing it.
Yeah,
I mean, millions of us want him to be our president, and the current administration and the people that run this world so corruptly don't want it to happen. They're after us, but he's in the, like they're saying, they're actually after us, but he's in the way.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people need to appreciate, that the guy's out there doing that for you instead of, I mean, these liberals, they don't have a clue.
Too many people in this country are mentally ill. They closed down all the mental institutions, and now they're just running around in the street thinking they're boys are girls and girls are boys.
But I think if it would have killed him, then I think there'd be some crazy shit going on right now. Yeah, there'd be some rioting.
There'd be some
unrest.
Pissed off people, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and jump in these comments and we'll be done. Let's see here. Yeah, we didn't get to go over any of the comments here in the past couple ones, so these are just from the last one. We've only got like about 8 or 9 or 10 of them. So, and then we'll get into that Gene Odom movie, and then you can see Craig singing "What's Your Name, Little Girl" with Mr. Breeze.
Back up,
yeah. RLH says, no BS. Here's a question I was going to submit before Griff said that Gene was good friends with both Ronnie Van Zant and Danny Joe Brown. If there was to be a street fight between those two, who do you think would win? I guess this was directed towards Gene to ask this question, but Craig, you would be able to tell that.
Between Ronnie and Danny Joe Brown?
Yeah, Danny Joe Brown.
Oh, Ronnie would kick his ass. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you say that?
Ronnie was mean.
Yeah, Ronnie was just mean, man.
He's mean. Yeah, he's mean. Yeah.
Ronnie's one of those kind of guys that he probably don't stop fighting.
I never thought Jamie Joe would be all that tough. I don't know.
He was kind of he had big arms, he was like a pretty built guy, pretty big built guy.
I never.
But hell, he had diabetes really bad,
Yeah, yeah. I'd always thought he was kind of sickly because he had that diabetes.
But I hear he was a nice guy.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. I just never thought he was a real tough guy.
Yeah, he didn't seem like, everybody knew Ronnie was a tough, badass guy.
Yeah.
But, Ronnie was one of those kind, man, that, if he can't get you.
I just say Ronnie wasn't really a good boxer. I don't think he was a good boxer. I think he wanted to be a boxer at one time, but I think even Gene said he got his ass beaten.
Yeah, he tells that. He tells
change that occupation. He was just freaking mean.
Yeah, I know.
He was just mean. It didn't matter if you beat him or not. You were going to lose something. You get your eyes poked out, or your ear bit off, or it wouldn't be worth it.
So it wasn't. Even if you won, it wouldn't.
Even if you win, you're going to lose something.
Some of these short guys. Like there was this guy I used to know. His name was Matt Goodman, and when I was going to school, and this guy, everybody kind of picked on him. Well, these two bullies picked on him one day, and he kicked both of them's ass. And then after that, everybody was running around going, "Hey, Matt, what's going on, man? How you doing today, Matt?" Yes, they were scared of him because he beat up two bullies at the same time. And then kind of find out he raised pigs with his dad, and he used to wrestle those pigs, and that's why he was so tough, because he could
wrestling pigs.
He was wrestle the pigs, because I went to his house and we were out there wrestling pigs, and they were kicking my ass. He was throwing them down and tying them up.
I never wrestled pigs.
He was a crazy. He was like Ronnie, short guy, but unassuming. But he'd kick your ass though. Let me see. Amelin says, apparently Johnny has a piece of the Hell House slab. I wish I had some of that slab or some of that dock. Well, actually, Gene described in that video, that part one, that what Johnny has, he claims is not officially Hell House slab, that it came from one of the other foundations, one of the other buildings, because Gene said that slab that was out there. Of course, if Johnny's listening to that now, he's probably going, "Screw Gene." Gene thinks he knows everything. You know what I mean? But Gene says that slab that Johnny has is too clean to be Hell House slab. He said you couldn't pressure wash all that nastiness.
Couldn't you put acid on it or something and get it clean or something?
Well, I guess he saw it, before Johnny got it, and he knows it's not the slab anyway. So, because it was crushed up by a front end loader and buried out in that berm out there by the railroad track. Horton Homes came out there and built all those homes in there, and then they took all that dirt that they scooped out of there, and they made a big berm up by the track so it would deaden the sound of the train going by. So up there in the woods, there's like a big berm up there. But there is some people that have chunks of that slab, because they did bust it up when they were taking it out of there. So there were pieces of that slab in the ground, and Gene's gotten pieces of it. And that Hell House dockwood that he showed on part one, I bought that from Gene. So I got some of that Hell House dockwood, and I just got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I might make it available for some of the guys, on some of the subscribers on the podcast. If you want some of it, of course, it won't be free. It'll be a donation. So yeah, we'll move on to the next question there. Thanks for that, Amelin. Tom Hill says years ago he got a book from Gene and he signed a piece of concrete from Hell House. Ask him if he remembers that. I'll try to remember that. I'm as bad as Gene is with my memory, though. I think. What is that, Craig? A poster?
Yeah, that's your Hell House poster. Yeah.
Yeah, that red kind of threw me. I thought it was a red T-shirt or something. And a user says, always love when Gene comes on. Great info about the Hell House property and the Civil War camps. Yeah, did you watch it, Craig, where Gene said that there was actual Civil War, both sides of the Civil War had camps there?
No, actually, I didn't.
Yeah, so the whole time that you were out there smoking mushrooms, man, there was Civil War action out there. Not a war, but they had camps there, so.
Yeah, when I was out there, I visited another dimension and I felt something like that.
Yeah, that from those shrooms. I wonder if that was always a place where cattle hung out, even during the Civil War, because they were probably getting some mushrooms too. I mean, if you're fighting in a Civil War, you'd have to have some mushrooms to fight in that war. That's not a war.
Well, I don't know if there
was
cows out there then. John had those cows out there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I was wondering if there were any out there before. And then Kimmy says, it behooves her how so many people watch the podcast and don't hit the like button. Tell them about it, Kimmy. We're glad you're back, Kimmy. We wonder what happened to you. We heard that you got hurt or something, fell off a ladder or something. So I guess you're fine. And Angela Lynyrd says it's odd how everything burnt down at the Hell House property must be an Indian curse. Well, actually, they know what happened to the buildings that got burnt down there, but we don't kind of really want to tell that story. So if you dug hard enough, you would find, but there's actually some pretty radical story about how they got burned down, which had something to do with old Gohagen.
That's it. Those are actually the trees behind me from the Hell House, from the dock.
Is it?
Yeah, that's
across from the river.
Mm-hmm, that's standing on where the dock is. That's from the Hell House. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it's thick brush over there.
Yeah, stand over there where those right at the bank there. That's where Chad was. And Ronnie was over there throwing those sweet pickles over there for the gators.
Did it look just like that back then when you were staying there? Is that how?
Oh yeah. Just exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah, just a bunch of trees on the other side, swamp. Right? That's just swamp over there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it looked exactly like that.
Did you guys ever swim to that other side? And
I never got in that water.
You didn't? Did you see those guys get in it?
That's what they call Black Creek back there. Although I did go skiing up, not right in that area there, but I did go skiing in Black Creek a little bit. But no, I never went swimming in there.
Did you ever see them swim in there?
No.
No? You never saw them swim?
No, but there was a diving board and stuff back there, but I never saw them swimming there. But there was gators in there 10 feet long.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was gators in there 10 feet long.
Easy.
Yeah.
And moccasins too.
Yeah, moccasins. Yeah. I never saw a water moccasin out there.
I've seen every time I go out there, I either see a gator or a moccasin. Every time I go out there,
I've never seen one out there. I saw some gators, but no moccasins.
But Gene and I were
rattlesnakes. Saw a couple of rattlesnakes out there.
Yeah, it's primo land for any kind of snake. But Gene and I were going to go out there and see if we couldn't talk to the people that own the property now, see what they're doing, what they're up to, if that dock's all gone. Gene claimed it was still in the water, the frame of it. So,
we were just out there in October or something last year?
Yeah.
And we weren't out there not very long ago. We were out there.
Yeah, I don't think they started building a house out there, but yeah. So okay. Rich Johnson says he's glad that I like the idea of naming the I usually call it On the Road with Griff Martin. Rich Johnson says call it One More from the Road.
That's what I called the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what he's the
Yeah,
one
you
that
told
came
me
up
to
with
call
this.
it that. Yeah, one
Yeah,
more
Rich
from the road.
Johnson. Then he goes, but you need to add with Griff Martin.
That's what I put on there.
With
Uh-huh.
WIFF?
Oh, no, I
Yeah,
said
that's what he said. That's what he said.
whiff,
With
Griff,
I don't know what.
Griff.
But yeah, so I put that on there just for him. That was a pretty good idea. One more from the road. So that's what I'll start calling it from now on if I can remember. But yeah, and then I got plenty more coming up. I'm working on a Steve Gaines thing. I'm still working on that, but I'm hoping that this whole election crap don't interfere with it. Yeah, I don't want to get stranded somewhere, but I think I got a couple months before I have to worry about it. Then we got let me see
They're
one
gonna
more
they're
here.
gonna just using that word. That'll hit the algorithm and throw us them into a limited. But since you're gonna play that, what's your name at the end? We'll probably get limited on this, anyways. Plus, I've been hitting this bong, and
Right. Yeah, it's a
that's gonna
wash.
limit us. So we're screwed on this one.
That's okay.
But yeah.
And then somebody mentioned just think if there were a bong made out of Hell House wood. Well, I've got Hell House wood and I've got railroad trestle wood. And
This bamboo makes great ones, man. I know.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
working
that's
pretty
kind of
good, is
cool.
it, Craig?
Yeah, it works fine. Yeah, this one works good. It's not leaking or nothing.
Yeah,
Need to put some. I got those decals. I need to.
yeah, put those
We'll
decals
have
and
to
get it
figure out
all.
if we're gonna give this away on the.
Yeah, that's the one you're giving away Wednesday. You got to sign it somewhere.
Well, you signed the bottom of this one, I
Yeah,
think.
but that's just because I'm the inventor, or not the
Well,
inventor, but the manufacturer.
I'll just sign it where you signed it, and then
Wherever you want to sign it.
yeah, we'll have to. Oh, you put
Roadie.
You put Roadie up there in the leather.
Yeah.
And this one's got a bigger stem on it than.
Yeah, it's got a bigger because I had to get back into my other stash of bamboo. And then you're gonna send that one back and I'll fix it.
Yeah,
It'll
this
be just
one
like,
needs to be fixed. Although the leather's not
no, the leather's fine. All I just gotta do
it's
is go
not
in there and
discolored or nothing. It's just
yeah.
they're both Stone Roadie approved.
Yeah, one of them staying it with Craig, and he's going to mail it out. That one there, you'll mail that one out. So somebody will get the ball.
Well, I haven't used this one. I haven't used the stem yet. This is a stem out of the other one still.
But it's is it smoking pretty good then?
Yeah,
Craig?
I just didn't want to put a screen in the other one. I just pulled it out of that one. It's the same stem, yeah.
It's the exact copy of the other one. So
Yeah.
well, that was all the questions and comments, Craig. So we can just jump into the Gene Odom part 2, and then finish it off with a little Craig Reed, what's your name? So that's happy trails.
Yeah.
I can't sing. We're gonna keep this band up here. Mr. Ronnie Van Zant wrote the song about Craig Reed. He was taking care of business, keeping the police off of Ronnie, so he had to take the heat. All right, come on. It's like a force there, I'm a hole.
So I drove over here to Gene's house, and ironically, you know, Gene and I, we were going to sit down here and have a little chat, but yesterday I was on the phone with Gene, and we were talking about, hey, let's go because we're going to watch this Donald Trump rally in Pennsylvania. And Gene's like, yeah, I just turned it on. And I said, yeah, I'm watching it now. I said, well, I'll be there tomorrow, Gene, about 10:30. And you said, okay. And I hung up the phone, and then as soon as I hung the phone up, Donald Trump got shot.
You shouldn't have hung the phone up.
I know. But how crazy is that? And one of the things I was going to ask you about, Gene, was a lot of people have interviewed Gene Odom, and they've talked about things that have happened in the past, and there's probably miles of footage of Gene Odom talking about Lynyrd Skynyrd stories and things like that, of Lynyrd Skynyrd in the past. But we've never really discussed anything that would take a look at what would have happened if that plane wouldn't have crashed. And talking about Donald Trump, in your view, Gene, as far as politically, where do you think Ronnie would be at right now if Ronnie had lived, in his political view about what's going on right now? What do you think would have happened?
Well, number one, he'd be one of the biggest musicians that ever lived. Songwriters, and Skynyrd would be bigger than the Stones, actually. Right before the airplane crashed, Lynyrd Skynyrd band was called the American Beatles. And here's a story that most of y'all don't know. The Rolling Stones held the attendance record for Madison Square Garden 5 consecutive nights. The Stones held that record. The fall tour for Lynyrd Skynyrd Tour 1977, the Lynyrd Skynyrd band had Madison Square Garden sold out for 7 consecutive nights. The Lynyrd Skynyrd band would have held the record for Madison Square Garden if we wouldn't have had that plane crash. And Ronnie would be a Republican. He'd be big time with Donald Trump and the Trump organization, or the Republican organization. And some of them liberal byproducts of that, of Ronnie, I'm not going to mention any names that are heavy Democrats. Ronnie Van Zant would be a Republican, and he would be behind Donald Trump 100%.
His brothers pretty much are.
Oh yeah, Johnny and Donnie are.
Yeah, they pretty much, you know, they're patriots.
Yeah.
So
election time, you can go by their house. I ain't gonna tell you where it's at.
Right.
But you can go by their house and they got Trump signs out in front.
Yeah, so they pretty much, that's proof right there,
That's
you know.
proof. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that Ronnie, and I imagine there would probably even be some songs coming out right now. Ronnie would be writing about all this stuff that he sees going on, you know, because we know Ronnie was a storyteller through his music. So.
There'd be a song today.
Oh yeah.
I wrote a song last night about this.
And you know, how crazy that, you know, that's got to be probably that picture, that last picture I saw of Donald Trump with Secret Service had a hold of him, dragging him off the stage with his fist in the air and an American flag in the background with blood on his face. That's going to be the most historic photo in history.
Let me tell you what happened yesterday. You've heard the term. Now this is not pointing at them or putting the blame on them, putting the blame on rhetoric, if I've got it pronounced right, rhetoric. You heard the term, don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Right.
The Democrats have shot themselves in both feet and the head.
Yeah.
As of yesterday. Now you can't blame it on a particular one because obviously that boy wasn't right, you know, and the point blame is going to go on the Secret Service. There ain't no way
that
building 130 yards away shouldn't have been surveilled. And when you got people standing on you pointing at them going, look at, there's a guy crawling.
Yeah, there's a guy crawling with a rifle.
There was a breakdown. There was a Secret Service breakdown, and it's going to come to a head here shortly.
Yeah, and the dust is still settling, but you know, it is, and it's great to think about. You know, we've talked a lot about what stories evolve around Lynyrd Skynyrd in the past, but like if that plane crash wouldn't have happened, you know, it's also nice to think about, you know, or interesting to think about what things would have been had that plane not crashed. And which leads me back to a video that I saw, Eugene Odom, that was, God, that was one of your first videos. I mean, it's so old that when I saw it on YouTube, the voice wasn't matching up with your mouth when it was moving, because
It still don't. Today it don't.
Yeah, it does.
Let me help you out a little bit. I went to the VA because forgetting, you know, what I'm doing, what's going on, you know, to see if I might be coming down with dementia or Alzheimer's. And a nice lady, cool as hell doctor, you know, she said, Mr. Odom, we don't think it's dementia or Alzheimer's. You had such a massive head injury in the plane crash that caused brain damage at that time.
Yeah.
And so it's a combination of and what we figure you do have it is you got white matter disease, and there's no cure for white matter disease. She says the only thing that you can take that we think may even do any kind of help or whatever or anything is fish oil. I'll get you some capsules. She got me some capsules, them big capsules. You know me, you know, which end does this go in?
Oh yeah.
And she went, this end up here. And so I took a couple of them, and this other doctor I know, he said, there ain't no cure for that. He says, it's progressive. And he said, with your massive head injury you had, and then you fell several times, and you got a couple of car got banged up. It's just a process. And you're getting old. And he said, you know, there's nothing can be done about it. So that's why I forget. Now, I can think back real good, but it's new right now. What are we talking about? You know, I'll be talking to you and I'll go, damn, you know. But I work with it. It's no big deal, you know.
Well, I think for the most part, Jeannie, once you do get on topic, man, you're pretty sharp, you know, as far as what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I forget my damn keys around the house and running around like a maniac looking for it. But
yeah, I just forget everything.
But yeah, and this is what's really good about documenting this, because you know we're all human, and one day we're not going to be able to do the things we used to do. So this is the kind of stuff we need to get down on video, which you know tells a story about Skynyrd and all the things surrounding him. So, but and having Gene Odom explain stuff is like, you know, just like Craig. I mean, you guys were there, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Craig's got a lifetime of stuff. And I got some. I don't have everything because I wasn't around them 24/7.
Well, you were around the early days, and just like this video I was talking about, you knew the guys when they were kids, little kids,
Oh, yeah.
and you knew them when you know before they were drinking and doing drugs, and then you knew them after. And so that video that I'm talking about is basically what the guy was doing. And I don't know if you remember that video, and whoever it was that interviewed you and was asking you about that, but you've done so many. But I figured we'd redo it to where it's you know a modern day description of all the guys, and I'm going to name them, and you just kind of tell me you know, in your own words, because things might have changed since then about, you know, kind of like their personality and a description of them and stuff.
Well, I can only tell you what I know and what I was aware of, and it'll be straight from the hip.
Yeah, because if anybody knows Gene Odom, he shoots straight from the hip, and that's what we love about Gene Odom.
I shoot straight from the hip, you know,
and you don't mind either.
all those guys, every single one of them, you could flip a switch.
Yeah.
At the right time, and they would change channels. They would, you know,
right.
The right ingredients, the right ingestion of stuff, the time they could go from Alan Collins to Schizo Collins.
Right.
But what I would say will be that it'll be.
Yeah, and what people need to take into account is that many years of drug abuse and a plane crash. So it's not like these are normal people that, everyday people. These are some people that went through some shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's why they're the way they are. But they all had a good side, but they had a bad side, and so we want to find out a little bit, more about both of those things. So,
yeah.
So I'll start off, and I'm just going to name them, and I've got them all written down. I don't think I've left anybody out, but
let me turn that AC down.
Yeah, okay.
Down a notch.
All right. I'd get it for you, but I'd probably run that thing the wrong way and turn the heat on.
I don't try to burn up electricity because of a little bit of money.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It'd be 100 degrees outside. That thing will 80
That electric
degrees.
bill ain't looking any better under Bidenomics.
Oh my God, yeah.
All right, Gene, so we're going to start off. Let's start off with Billy Powell, interesting character. If you had to describe Billy Powell, what would your description of him be?
Well, from what I saw and knew and know, Billy was on the road. Band members have another life on the road. Let's just don't say band members. Let's just say entertainers, stars, celebrities. That's a better word. Celebrities have a following of people, let's say, Billy Powell didn't follow that track at that time. He was a family man. On the road, all the women in the world you want are on the road out there if you're a celebrity or you're an employee or you're a part of that band or that, whatever you want to call it. But Billy was, his only downfall was he, at that time, was white matter disease at work.
Mm-hmm. Was it you were telling me about the Bloody Marys?
Oh yeah, here's even at home and on the road was the Bloody Mary thing, but on the road he was not like the other guys. He was a family man. And he spent his time in his room and stuff like that early on, and he was just different man-wise than other musicians back then. But he was a good guy, fantastic piano player, and of course people know the story about how he became a band member. He was Leon Wilkinson's roadie. He set Leon Wilkinson's bass equipment up. And so back then they didn't have Freebird all the way like it was. And so Leon told Billy, gave him a cassette of the Freebird, the way they had it, and told Billy, he said, hey, you go home and put some keyboard music to this. And I said, I want Ronnie to hear, because Ronnie wasn't impressed with Billy. He didn't know anything about Billy Powell being a musician, playing piano. Put some music to Freebird so I can let Ronnie hear it and let Ronnie see what you can do. So Billy went home over the weekend or whatever it was, and he put his music to what was Freebird. And Leon took that with Billy to rehearsal, and Leon told Ronnie, listen to this. And he plays it. And Ronnie goes, who the hell is that? Who's doing that? And Leon goes, that's Billy. I told you Billy played the piano. And Ronnie went, man, oh my God, you're a member of the band. So Billy became a member of the band.
So that actually happened off of listening to a cassette tape, not, because I was there in Muscle Shoals, and they've got a tour running through that recording studio there, you know, where Skynyrd recorded, and they like to tell a story about how that's where Billy played piano for the first time, and I kind of thought, no, I don't believe that. You know, that wasn't.
Now, on recording, it may be the first time Billy Powell played the piano.
Yeah, on recording, yeah, but
Billy Powell, Leon Wilkerson, Billy took that to his home, and Billy put music to that, and Ronnie heard it for the first time.
yeah, they made it sound like Billy sat down and you know, while they were taking a break, and then he played. This is how I'd play Freebird, and I was thinking, nah, I don't believe. You know how people like to tell stories to beef up their whatever it is that, you know.
Every person can change the story.
Yeah. So you're saying Billy, you know, okay, we know he was an alcoholic, and he, you know, had a wild side when it came to alcohol, but when it came to being loyal to his lady and his family, he was a good family man.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on to Alan Collins, which I probably could have saved him for last, because Alan's kind of like the most craziest sumbitch in the band. But
well, you know, you might be better to save him for last.
Okay.
It could get a little.
Yeah, let's save him for last.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until